This
I entered the
alliance will
wrong room.
secure
The
our
alien
borders
woman
for
didn't ask me to
generations.
leave. That night,
All I require is
HFY
your
Sci-Fi
unwavering
Story.
loyalty.
Evan
As you can
Hale had
see,
learned one
the
important
current
rule while
strategy is
working on Station
unsustainable.
Ilion. Never
We need
rush,
a new
no matter how
approach.
tired you were. The station was old, massive, and shared by more than 20 intelligent species. Doors looked similar, corridors curved in confusing ways, and one wrong step could lead to serious trouble. That night, Evan was tired. The artificial night cycle had settled over the station, dimming the main lights to a soft blue. Most crews were resting. Evan was part of the human maintenance team, small in number and usually ignored. Humans were new to the wider galaxy. They were not strong like the Kravaks, not psychic like the Lurin, and not long-lived like the Uli. They were simply useful. They fixed things others did not want to touch. A power fluctuation had been reported in the lower residential ring. Evan volunteered to check it alone. Humans often worked solo. It was easier that way. No one complained and no one cared enough to stop them. He followed his handheld scanner through a quiet corridor, boots echoing softly against the metal floor. The scanner showed a faulty junction near his position. Evan frowned. According to the map, there should have been a maintenance access door right in front of him. There was a door. Without thinking too much, Evan tapped the panel and stepped inside. The door slid shut behind him with a soft hiss. Evan froze. This was not a maintenance room. The lighting was warmer. The walls curved smoothly and were decorated with unfamiliar symbols etched into the metal. The air felt heavier, almost like it pressed gently against his skin. A low hum vibrated through the room, not from machines, but from something else he could not explain. Then he saw her. She stood near the far side of the room, tall and slender, her posture calm and still. Her skin shimmered faintly, shifting colors like light through water. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting the room's glow. She was clearly not human and clearly not expecting a visitor. Evan's heart began to race. He had entered a private living space. Worse, the symbols on the wall told him exactly whose. She was Lurin. The Lurin were known across the station for their psychic sensitivity. Their quarters were protected. Their privacy laws were strict. Entering without permission was a serious offense. Evan raised his hand slowly, his scanner slipping from his fingers and clattering softly onto the floor. "I'm sorry," he said quickly, keeping his voice calm. "I took the wrong door. I'll leave right now." He stepped back toward the door panel. It did not open. Evan swallowed. Behind him, he felt something like pressure in his mind, not painful but intense, as if someone were standing very close without touching him. He resisted the urge to panic. Humans had been warned not to react strongly around Lurin. Emotional spikes made them uncomfortable. "Wait!" The voice was not loud, it was smooth and controlled. It came from behind him. Evan stopped. Slowly, he turned around. The alien woman had not moved closer, yet Evan felt as though she could see straight through him. Her gaze was focused, curious rather than angry. "You entered without fear," she said. "That is unusual." Evan blinked. "I was afraid," he answered honestly. "I just didn't realize where I was." She tilted her head slightly, a gesture Evan had seen other Lurin use when thinking. "Your fear is quiet." He did not understand what that meant. "I really should go," Evan said again. "I don't want to cause trouble." She did not respond immediately. Instead, her eyes shifted briefly toward the sealed door, then back to him. "You will remain," she said. Evan stiffened. His first instinct was to argue, but he stopped himself. Humans had learned that arguing with species that could read emotional intent was never wise. "May I ask why?" he said carefully. "There is a disturbance," she replied, "and you are not affected by it." Evan frowned. "Disturbance?" The lights in the room flickered slightly, almost unnoticeable. Evan's scanner, still lying on the floor, beeped once before going silent. He glanced down at it, then back up. "There's a power issue in this sector. That's why I'm here." Her eyes narrowed just a fraction. "That is not the disturbance I sense." The pressure in Evan's head increased, then faded. He felt as though a thought had brushed past him, testing, then withdrawing. The alien woman straightened. "You do not resonate." "I don't know what that means," Evan said. "It means," she replied, "that your mind is quiet in a way I have never encountered." Evan had heard similar things before. Humans were often described as mentally dull by psychic species. It used to bother him. Over time, he learned to accept it. "I guess we're just built differently," he said. Her gaze lingered on him longer now. "Yes, you are." A distant tremor ran through the station. The hum in the walls deepened and the lights dimmed again. Evan's professional instincts kicked in. "That wasn't normal," he said. "If there's another surge, systems could start failing." She nodded slowly. "They already are." Evan's eyes widened. "What?" "The psychic network that links this station is under strain," she said. "Many of my people feel it: confusion, fear, interference." Evan thought of the calm corridors outside, the empty halls. No one raised an alarm. "They cannot," she said. "The disturbance moves through the network itself. To act through it is like shouting while drowning." Evan looked down at his scanner again. It was completely dead now. "My equipment's offline too." "Not from the same cause," she said. Evan took a careful step forward, curiosity slowly pushing aside fear. "Then what's causing it?" She hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across her face. "That," she said, "is why you are here." Evan let out a slow breath. "You think I can help?" "I do not think," she replied. "I observe, and you remain unaffected." Another tremor passed through the station, stronger this time. Somewhere far away, a muffled alarm sounded, then cut off abruptly. Evan felt a chill. "Something's very wrong," he said. "Yes," she agreed. "And it is spreading." She moved closer now, closing the distance between them. Evan noticed that the pressure in his mind did not increase. If anything, it faded. She noticed too. "Fascinating," she murmured. Evan gave a nervous half-smile. "People usually say underwhelming." That earned him a brief pause, then something rare, a smile. It was subtle and alien, but unmistakable. "This night," she said quietly, "will be remembered." Evan did not know why, but he believed her. Outside the room, unseen systems began to fail one by one. And for the first time on Station Ilion, humanity's greatest weakness was about to become its greatest strength. The station shook again, harder this time. The floor vibrated under Evan's boots, and a low warning tone echoed faintly through the walls before cutting out mid-note. The silence that followed felt heavy, unnatural. Evan steadied himself by placing a hand against the curved wall. "That shouldn't have stopped," he said. "Alarms are designed to stay on." The Lurin woman watched the air itself, as if invisible lines were moving through it. Her eyes unfocused slightly, and Evan realized she was listening to something he could not hear. "The network is fracturing," she said. "Information is looping. Fear is amplifying fear." "That sounds bad," Evan replied. "It is catastrophic," she said calmly. Evan picked up his scanner and tried to restart it. Nothing happened. He tapped it twice, then sighed and clipped it back onto his belt. "Okay, my tools are dead. Your people are overwhelmed. Command doesn't even know what's happening yet." He looked at her. "But the station is still standing. That means the core systems are intact, physical systems." "Yes," she said slowly. "They are beneath the psychic layer." Evan nodded. "That's our territory." Another tremor ran through the station, followed by a distant metallic groan. Somewhere far away, something heavy had shifted or fallen. The Lurin woman turned toward him fully now. "Explain." Evan took a breath. "Humans don't build systems that rely on one method alone. We assume things will fail, so we add backups, and backups to those. Most species think that's inefficient." "It is," she said. "Yeah," Evan agreed, "but inefficient things don't break all at once." She studied him again, more intensely this time. "You believe you can intervene." "I believe I can try," Evan said. "And right now, trying is better than waiting." She closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, the faint shimmer of her skin dimmed slightly, like a light being turned down. "I will shield you as much as I can," she said. "But understand this, human. If you enter the station's lower systems, you may become invisible to my people." Evan gave a dry laugh. "That won't be new." She did not smile this time. The door slid open without a sound. The corridor beyond was darker now, emergency lights casting long shadows across the curved walls. The usual soft hum of station life was gone, replaced by uneven vibrations and distant, broken noises. As Evan stepped out, he felt it again. That strange pressure in the air. But it slid past him like water around a stone. Behind him, the door closed. He did not look back. The corridor map on the wall flickered weakly, showing only fragments of the station layout. Evan relied on memory, turning left, then down a narrow ramp that led toward the service levels. As he moved, he passed other doors. Some were sealed. Others were open, revealing empty rooms or scattered belongings. No people, no aliens, just absence. "Everyone's hiding," Evan muttered. "Or worse." He reached a maintenance hatch and forced it open manually. Inside, the lighting was almost non-existent. Evan switched on the small flashlight attached to his wrist. The service tunnels were tight, angular, and unfinished. This was where humans had left their mark on the station. Exposed cables, physical switches, thick manual locks. Systems designed to work even if everything else failed. As Evan climbed down a ladder, his earpiece crackled. "Hail." He nearly fell. "Command," he said quickly. "Negative," came the reply. "Security Officer Threx, human." Evan exhaled in relief. "I didn't know anyone else was still online." "Most aren't," Threx said. "Psychic interference knocked out the primary net. Humans are less affected." "That's a polite way to say ignored," Evan replied. "I need a status report," Threx said. "What's happening?" Evan explained as quickly as he could, describing the disturbances, the failing alarms, and the strange signal affecting the psychic network. There was a pause. "That matches what little data we have," Threx said. "We're seeing system conflicts originating outside the station." "External?" Evan asked. "Yes, something is probing us, learning." Evan's stomach tightened. "Like a hacker." "Like a predator," Threx corrected. Evan reached the bottom of the ladder and moved deeper into the tunnel. "Then it's making a big mistake." "How so?" Threx asked. "Because it thinks we all work the same way," Evan said. "And we don't." He reached a junction box and pried it open. Inside were thick cables and old-style connectors. Evan smiled grimly. "Threx, can you authorize manual override access for Section Delta?" he asked. "Already done," Threx replied. "You're clear." Evan disconnected the primary psychic relay feed from the physical control system. The moment he did, the tunnel lights flickered, then stabilized. Far above, throughout the station, Lurin and other psychic species gasped as a wave of pressure suddenly eased. In her quarters, the Lurin woman staggered slightly, catching herself against the wall. The noise in her mind lessened, though it did not vanish. "He did something," she whispered. Back in the tunnels, Evan wiped sweat from his brow. "Okay," he said to himself. That got its attention. Almost immediately, the lights dimmed again. A new vibration rippled through the metal, sharper and more focused. "Yeah," Evan said quietly. "Definitely noticed." His earpiece crackled. "Evan," the Lurin woman's voice said, strained but clear. "It is reacting." "I figured," he replied. "Can you tell where it's coming from?" There was a pause, then a sharp inhale. "Yes, it is focused on you." Evan chuckled nervously. "That figures." The station groaned as another system shut down. Artificial gravity wavered for half a second, making Evan's stomach lurch. "Evan," Threx said urgently, "we're losing control of multiple sections." "I'm working on it," Evan replied, "but I can't fight something I can't see." "You cannot see it," the Lurin woman said, "but I can." "Then we work together," Evan said. "You guide me, I pull the plugs." She hesitated only a moment. "Very well." Following her directions, Evan moved through the tunnels, disconnecting relays, rerouting power, isolating sections of the station from the psychic network. Each action reduced the pressure slightly, but the resistance grew stronger. The attacking intelligence adapted quickly. It pushed harder, sending surges through the remaining connections. Evan felt heat in the walls now, heard the whine of stressed metal. "This thing learns fast," Evan said. "Yes," she replied. "But it has never faced a species like yours." Evan reached the final junction near the core. His hands shook as he prepared to pull the last connection. "Once I do this," he said, "the psychic network goes dark." "For a time," she said, "but the station will survive." Evan grinned. "Good enough." He pulled. The effect was immediate. A silent shockwave rippled through the station. Lights went out, then came back on in steady, simple patterns. The pressure vanished completely. Across the void outside, something recoiled. In her quarters, the Lurin woman collapsed to her knees, breathing hard but alive. In the tunnels, Evan leaned against the wall, exhausted but smiling. "Guess that's round one," he said softly. And somewhere beyond the station, the unseen predator began to reconsider everything it thought it knew about humans. The station did not celebrate the silence. Silence, on Station Ilion, was dangerous. Evan felt it as soon as he pushed himself away from the tunnel wall. The pressure was gone, yes, but something else had taken its place. A tension like the moment after lightning strikes but before thunder fades. The systems were calm but not safe. His earpiece crackled again. "Evan," Security Officer Threx said, "good work. Power flow has stabilized in multiple sectors." "That's the good news," Evan replied, breathing hard. "What's the bad?" There was a pause, too long. "The external intelligence has not retreated," Threx said. "It has changed behavior." Evan straightened slowly. "Changed how?" "It's no longer probing the psychic network," Threx said. "It's scanning physically." Evan's smile faded. "So it finally noticed the boring stuff." "Yes," Threx said, "and it is adapting." Evan looked at the junction box he had just shut down. Thick cables, manual locks, old human hardware. "Then we're out of time." Gravity wavered again, longer this time. Tools and loose bolts lifted slightly before clattering back to the floor. "That was external," Evan muttered. In her quarters, the Lurin woman felt it too. Without the network, the station was quiet in her mind, but the outside presence was now clearer, sharper, curious. It was angry. "It no longer sees us as prey," she whispered to herself. "It sees us as resistance." She activated a low-level transmitter, one designed for emergency coordination with non-psychic species. Her voice carried through physical channels only. "Evan," she said, "it is focusing on the station's hull, on weak points." "Figures," Evan replied. "If you can't control the brain, you break the body." The lights flickered as if in agreement. Threx came back on the line. "Command wants to know our options." Evan laughed once, humorless. "Tell them humans have a saying." "Which is?" Threx asked. "When in doubt," Evan said, "hit it harder." He moved deeper into the tunnels toward the core-adjacent engineering bays. These areas were rarely used, too manual, too crude. Most species preferred clean interfaces and psychic control. Humans preferred switches. As Evan ran, the station shuddered again. Somewhere above him, metal screamed as stress built along the hull. "We don't have much time," he said. "No," the Lurin woman replied. "It is learning how fragile we are." Evan reached the bay and forced the heavy door open with a physical lever. Inside, massive stabilization gyros loomed in the dim light. Old but powerful, designed to counter asteroid impacts, not intelligent attacks. He grinned. "Hello, beautiful." Threx's voice tightened. "Evan, what are you planning?" "I'm going to make the station very unpleasant to be near," Evan said. "That could tear us apart," Threx warned. "Only if we do it wrong," Evan replied. "And humans are very good at doing dangerous things almost right." He began flipping switches, rerouting power manually, feeding energy directly into the gyros. The hum deepened, becoming a roar. Outside the station, the attacking intelligence paused. The structure it had been studying suddenly changed behavior. Instead of reacting, it moved. Violently, unpredictably, the station began to rotate in short, controlled bursts, shifting orientation, throwing off scans and targeting calculations. The intelligence pushed back, sending focused energy toward the hull. Inside, alarms screamed. Real alarms this time. "Evan," Threx shouted, "structural stress is rising." "I know," Evan yelled back. "That's the point." The Lurin woman staggered as the station lurched again. She grabbed onto a support beam, eyes wide. "He is shaking us," she said in disbelief. "Yes," Threx replied over the channel, "on purpose." The intelligence adjusted again, attempting to synchronize with the station's movement. Evan saw it on a crude external sensor display. Patterns forming, predictions. "Oh no you don't," he muttered. He slammed a heavy lever down. The gyros reversed suddenly, snapping the station into a different rotational rhythm. Not smooth, not elegant, but effective. Outside, the intelligence's energy strike missed its target by kilometers. For the first time, it hesitated. In the silence between alarms, Evan laughed breathlessly. "That's right," he said. "We don't dance, we stumble." The Lurin woman felt something new ripple through her awareness. Not fear, not pressure, confusion. "It does not understand," she said slowly. "You are not behaving logically." Evan wiped sweat from his eyes. "That's our specialty." But the intelligence was not defeated. It shifted tactics again, launching multiple smaller strikes, probing different hull sections at once. "Too many," Threx said. "We can't dodge everything." Evan stared at the controls, thinking fast. Then he saw it, a warning label in faded human text. "Manual mass release, emergency only." He swallowed. "Threx," he said carefully, "how much cargo mass do we have docked?" "A lot," Threx replied. "Why?" Evan smiled grimly. "Because we're about to throw rocks." "What?" Threx demanded. But Evan was already working. He unlocked the emergency release systems, fingers flying over physical controls. Outside, cargo pods and debris containers detached from the station in rapid bursts, flung outward by the station's rotation. The intelligence reacted too late. The first wave of mass impacted its projected field, disrupting its focus. The second wave forced it to retreat further back. It was not damage in the traditional sense. It was interference, chaos, too much unpredictability. Inside the station, cheers echoed over human-only channels. "Direct hit," someone shouted. The Lurin woman felt it withdraw slightly, recoiling from the sudden disorder. "It is alarmed," she said, astonished. "It has never encountered such resistance." Evan leaned back against the console, chest heaving. "Good." But even as the intelligence pulled away, something changed. Its presence sharpened, condensing into a single focused point. "It's not done," Evan said quietly. "No," the Lurin woman agreed. "It is angry." The lights dimmed again, deeper this time. Gravity fluctuated wildly. Threx's voice was tense. "Evan, whatever it's charging, it's big." Evan stared at the display, understanding dawning. "It's going to overload us," he said. "One strike, all or nothing." Silence filled the channel. "We can't dodge that," Threx said. Evan closed his eyes briefly. Then he opened them, calm settling in. "Yes," he said, "we can." "How?" Threx asked. Evan looked at the core controls. At the systems humans had insisted on keeping manual against all advice. "By doing the one thing it will never expect," he said. The Lurin woman felt a strange certainty in his voice. "And what is that, human?" Evan's hand rested on the final switch. "We go dark." As the intelligence gathered its strength outside, unaware of what was coming, Evan began the countdown. And for the first time in its existence, a mind built on control prepared to face something far more dangerous. Human stubbornness. The countdown ended without drama. There was no explosion, no violent shake, no bright flash of light. One moment Station Ilion was alive with noise and motion. The next it went completely dark. Artificial gravity shut off. Lights vanished. Screens died. The steady hum of machines faded into nothing. Silence. Evan floated gently away from the control panel, his body adjusting instinctively. He grabbed a handhold and steadied himself. His breathing was loud in his ears. "Station power is fully down," he said into the earpiece, not knowing if anyone could hear him. "All systems offline. Manual life support only." No answer came. For the first time since this had begun, Evan was truly alone. Outside the station, the attacking intelligence surged forward. It struck nothing. The station was no longer broadcasting signals. No psychic hum. No energy flow. No patterns to read. To the intelligence, the massive structure simply vanished from its senses, like a thought that ended mid-sentence. It recoiled, confused. Inside her quarters, the Lurin woman drifted helplessly in the dark. Without the psychic network, she felt blind. The outside presence was gone from her awareness entirely. "He has hidden us," she whispered. Fear crept in, not of death but of the unknown. Her species had never chosen blindness as a defense. Minutes passed. Then the station shuddered, not from impact but from strain. Manual life support systems engaged automatically. Faint emergency lights flickered on, dim and steady. Gravity returned slowly, carefully, like a cautious hand pressing down. Evan exhaled in relief as his boots touched the floor again. His earpiece crackled. "Evan," Threx's voice said weakly. "You still alive?" Evan laughed, the sound shaky but real. "Yeah, you." "Yes," Threx replied. "We lost contact with almost everyone, but human emergency channels are coming back online." "Good," Evan said. "That means the station didn't tear itself apart." "No," Threx agreed, "but the external intelligence is still out there." Evan's smile faded. "Let me guess, it's angry." "It's confused," Threx said. "Our sensors show it scanning empty space." Evan nodded. "It's looking for something that isn't there anymore." In her quarters, the Lurin woman activated a small light crystal. Its glow filled the room softly. She felt the station returning to physical awareness, piece by piece. She reached for the transmitter again. "Evan," she said, "I can no longer sense it." "That's the idea," Evan replied. "It can't attack what it can't see." "But it will learn," she said. "Eventually." "Sure," Evan said. "Everything learns eventually, but learning takes time." Outside, the intelligence circled the empty region of space where the station had been. Its thoughts were tight, focused, angry. It had lost prey, lost control, and control was everything to it. Inside the station, command began to reassert itself. Human crews moved through dark corridors with handheld lights, flipping switches, checking valves, restarting physical systems one by one. Alien crews followed behind, shaken and disoriented, unused to working without psychic coordination. "This is inefficient," one Kravex officer growled. "It works," a human engineer replied calmly. Slowly, power returned to essential sections only. No psychic network, no advanced interfaces, just simple systems. The Lurin woman felt the absence like a missing limb. Yet beneath the discomfort, something else stirred. Respect. She made her way carefully through the corridors, escorted by human security, until she reached the engineering bay. Evan was sitting on the floor, back against a console, eyes closed. His face was pale, exhaustion written into every line. When he heard footsteps, he opened his eyes and looked up. She stopped a short distance away. "You survived," she said. "So did you," Evan replied. "Looks like we did something right." She studied him for a long moment. "You chose to blind us," she said. "Why?" Evan thought about it. "Because it was the only move left," he said simply. "That thing expected us to react, to fight, to resist." "And instead," she asked. "We quit," Evan said. "At least from its point of view." She tilted her head. "That is not quitting," he smiled faintly. "No, it's hiding." The station trembled again, lightly this time. External sensors flickered on briefly. Threx's voice came over the channel. "It's withdrawing." Evan closed his eyes. "Good." "It doesn't understand," Threx continued. "No energy signature, no signals, nothing to engage." The Lurin woman felt it then, faint but clear. The outside presence pulling away, uneasy, uncertain. It fears the unknown, she said softly. Evan opened his eyes. Most things do. Hours passed. Gradually, systems were brought back online, carefully isolated. The psychic network remained dark by choice. For the first time in station history, decisions were made without it. To the surprise of many, things worked. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but they worked. By the next cycle, the station was stable. The intelligence did not return. Official reports were cautious. Anomalous external interference. Temporary system failure. Emergency human-led intervention. Unofficially, everything had changed. In a quiet chamber overlooking the stars, the Lurin woman stood with several leaders from different species. Evan stood among them, uncomfortable but present. Humans were once considered weak, one alien said. Unremarkable. They lack psychic presence, another added. They are loud, chaotic, inefficient. The Lurin woman turned to face them. They are dangerous, she said. The word sent a ripple through the chamber. Not because they are powerful, she continued, but because they survive without control, without certainty. They function in darkness, she looked at Evan. They can disappear. No one argued. Later, Evan returned to his usual duties. Same uniform, same tools, same quiet corridors. But things were different now. Doors opened faster, voices listened. Requests came directly to human teams, and in the Lurin quarters a door remained unlocked at night, not as an invitation, as a symbol. Far beyond the station, the intelligence drifted through space, cautious now. It adjusted its models, rewriting assumptions. Civilizations that relied on order could be broken. Civilizations that relied on minds could be controlled. But civilizations that relied on stubborn individuals, physical switches, and the ability to function while blind, those were unpredictable. And unpredictability was dangerous. On Station Ilion, Evan paused at a familiar corridor, checking a panel. He smiled to himself. Sometimes, entering the wrong room changed everything. And sometimes, humanity's greatest strength was knowing when to turn off the lights.